I'm Ginger Miller. I'm founder and CEO of Women Veterans Interactive, but I'm also a wife to a disabled vet. We've been married for 24 years. He suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, and we have two wonderful boys, ages 20 and 13. You know what? I have a lot of passions, and my biggest passion is to serve people. My children are another passion that I have. And as a mom, you want to make sure that your kids are comfortable, that your kids are well taken care of. And it's the same passion that I have for my children that I have when I'm serving veterans. And I think it's because I was homeless in the early 90s, and I didn't have an organization like Women Veterans Interactive to turn to. So I believe it's the passion within me, that burning desire to still be served myself, is what I give women when they come to Women Veterans Interactive. So I guess I'm just passionate about people. I'm a servant. I'm a people's person. But one thing I tell folks all the time, when you're dealing with veterans, you have to handle with care. And I think one of the reasons I'm so sincere is because I've been there and I've done that. So anything that I can do to help a woman veteran so they can feel that they're not alone, so they will feel that the world hasn't forgotten about me, especially when you're in a homeless state, the way that I was in the early 90s, I'm doing that. So everything I'm doing is driven by passion. I am passion. One of the reasons, well, the main reason I started Women Veterans Interactive is because I was a homeless veteran in the early 90s. My husband suffered from post traumatic stress disorder. And at that time, we lived in New York. He was going back and forth to the VA. And unfortunately, with the groups they had, the peer support groups, it was a lot of older gentlemen from the Vietnam era. So he never really got the support or the medication, the mental health care that he needed. So we learned how to deal with it the best we could. My life was not a great life, but it was a good life. But we had to learn how to adapt as a family to the mood that dad would come downstairs in every day. So basically, for almost 20 years, I walked on eggshells. Um, it was not a great feeling. It was a hurtful feeling to go from marrying your Prince Charming to becoming homeless with him to walking on eggshells. So in 2009, I started the nonprofit John 142 Inc. to help these veterans who didn't have a strong support system. But the weirdest thing that happened is that as I reached out to help other veterans, I was helping myself. And I was literally in a prison for almost 20 years. And from the first time that I helped one veteran, the walls of my prison started to collapse. And they started just coming down, one after the other. You know, we got to 50 veterans, it kept coming down. So what I do every day is not only helping the veterans, but I'm helping myself. And it wasn't until 2011 that I realized, okay, you're somewhat successful with John 142 Inc. You've been appointed by Governor O'Malley to several commissions in the state of Maryland, to include the Maryland Commission for Women, the Maryland Caregiver Support Coordinating Council. I'm presently the chairwoman of the Prince George's County Commission for Veterans, but yet, for me, it wasn't enough. I felt like I was missing something. And what I was missing was the help for myself. So I had one of those nights where I looked in the mirror, 3 o'clock in the morning, and the only person I saw was Ginger Miller. And at this time, the issues that my husband had, they were no longer important. Because now Ginger Miller had to look herself in the mirror. And what I saw was Ginger Miller, former homeless veteran, disabled veteran. I too suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. I was homeless, but all of those things I put on the back burner. So my veteran status was not as important to me until 2011 because I was so busy taking care of my husband, taking care of the family. And that's when I said, you know what? Maybe I need to do something for women veterans. And I started Women Veterans Interactive, and we took off. And that was the key. And everything that I had experienced is what other women are experiencing. And this is the reason why the VA has said, and I agree with them wholeheartedly, that women veterans don't get the service and the support that they need because we're not self-identifying as women veterans. And we're not. It is not that we don't want to, but it's because as women by nature, we're caregivers. So if we're caring for everybody else, whether I'm a veteran or not is not important to me. What was important to me in the early 90s was surviving, getting off the streets, making sure that my son had something to eat, and making sure that my husband didn't go off the deep end. So Ginger Miller, the veteran, didn't matter. But Ginger Miller, the wife, Ginger Miller, the mother, Ginger Miller, the daughter, those were the things that was important to me. So with Women Veterans Interactive, we pride ourselves on meeting women veterans at their point of need. because it's clear that one shoe does not fit all, and it's clear that these women need help. So if you're hungry, we're going to feed you. If you're homeless, we're going to house you. If you're lonely, we're going to be your friend. And for me, it's that simple. How do we make these women comfortable, even in the saddest state that they're in? How do we let them know that the world hasn't forgotten about you? So I'm a big advocate on outreach, and that's how we reached over 750 women in 2012. So Women Veterans Interactive, we're here. We're going to be here for a long time. We're getting stronger every day. We're reaching out to women who are not veterans to join us as friends of Women Veterans Interactive so they can help us on this mission. Because as it stands now, there's thousands of homeless women veterans out here. And my thing is this: we want to reach the ones who are homeless, and we want to reach the ones who are close to becoming homeless. Because if you're just in the hole and you're plucking the ones out who are homeless, what about the ones who are falling in there? So, if I took out 10 today, when I come back to that hole tomorrow, I may have a total of 30. But wait a minute, I just took out 10. But you didn't see the other 20 or 30 over here. So we're kind of burning the candle on both ends to get the ones out of homeless and to strengthen the ones who are on the verge of being homeless so they don't become homeless. The world inspires me. God inspires me. My children inspires me. Again, I'm a people person. I'm just always inspired to do better, to learn, and I also want to be an inspiration to other people. But again, as far as veterans are concerned, veterans inspire me. For me, it's so real. I'm always inspired, 24 hours, 7 days a week. When I'm sleeping, I'm inspired. When I get up with the passion, with the notion of what can I do today to make it better for a fellow veteran. So I'm just always inspired to do better. I'm inspired to reach my goals, and all of that is fueled by my passion. I've learned a lot along this road, from being a homeless woman veteran to being a champion for women veterans. It's been a long road. It's been a great road. I've had some yays, I've had some nays, I had some good days, I've had some bad days. But what I would recommend to anyone who wants to serve veterans, do it with a sincere heart. Be for real about it. Don't do it because you think you can get a grant or you think you can get a sponsorship, because sometimes the money is just not there, but you still have to continue to serve. So we have become extremely creative at Women Veterans Interactive, and in 2012, we served and supported over 750 women veterans with little to no funding. How do you do that? You get creative. You form collaborations. You form partnerships with other organizations, and you get other people to join this journey of making sure that the women who have given so much for this country are getting something in return. And sometimes it may not be monetary, but if you're a journalist, volunteer to write a press release. If you're a dentist, volunteer to do a cleaning for a homeless woman veteran, because they have served. And I think anything that we can give back to them is not a handout, but it's a benefit earned. So we're not talking about folks who don't want to do better. They just need help in doing better. So the advice that I would give to someone, if this is a job that you want to take on, it's more than a job. It's a commitment. And there's a difference. Sometimes it's a lonely road. As the founder and CEO of Women Veterans Interactive, the biggest thing that I have learned is, regardless to what anyone else is doing, I have to continue to carry the torch. Some days it's me by myself, and that's okay. I'm going to continue to carry the torch so other folks can see my light shining, and then they will definitely want to get on board and help this train get to the next station. So my advice would be that you have to be committed. And it takes time. It took me 3.5 years to get to a point to where we had a strong foundation, and now folks want to get on board. We have a great board of directors. We're starting some new initiatives for 2013. So again, my advice would be committed. It's not child's play. It's hard work, and it takes dedication. Thank you.